The scar burns every time I see him with someone new, but he doesn't know what I did to myself. My fingers touch my neck without thinking. Always the same spot. Always the same phantom ache where my gland used to be. 6 months now. 6 months since I carved away the part of me that belonged to him. He's laughing. I watch from across the university courtyard, hidden behind the old oak tree where we used to meet, where he used to press his nose to my neck and breathe me in like I was oxygen. Now he's doing the same thing to someone else. A pretty beta with soft eyes and gentle hands. The kind who won't destroy themselves for love. My surgical scar throbs, angry red line that never quite heals right. The doctor said it would fade, liar. Some wounds are meant to stay visible. Daehyun. I whisper his name like prayer, like curse. He can't hear me from this distance. Can't smell my distress anymore either. I made sure of that. The beta touches his arm and he smiles. That same smile he used to save just for me. Before everything went wrong. I should leave. Should turn around and pretend I never saw this. But my feet won't move. My body betrays me like it always does when it comes to him. 6 months ago. You're pulling away from me. I said it to his back as he stood at our apartment window. Morning light caught in his dark hair, made him look ethereal, untouchable, which maybe he always was. I'm not, but his voice was distant, flat. Our bond pulsed weak between us. Dying frequency on broken radio. I felt it every second, the slow disconnect, like watching color drain from photograph. Don't lie to me, Daehyun. I can feel it, through here. I pressed my palm to my neck, to the gland that connected us. You're fading. He finally turned. Eyes that used to burn for me now looked through me. Maybe it's better this way. Better. The word hit like physical blow. Made my omega whimper in throat. Better for who? For both of us. This intensity. It's not healthy. Not healthy. Our love, our bond. The thing that made me feel alive for first time in my empty life. Not healthy. I wanted to scream, to claw at him until he bled. Honesty. Instead I just nodded. Because good omegas don't make scenes. Don't beg for scraps of affection. That night I felt him block the bond. Deliberate walls going up in his mind, cutting me out piece by piece. I lay next to his sleeping form and felt myself disappearing. 3 weeks later, the clinic smelled like antiseptic and lies, underground place where desperate people came to erase their mistakes. I gave them fake name, fake address, paid in cash. Gland removal is permanent, the doctor said. Shady man with shaky hands. No bond reformation possible after surgical severance. I know, your alpha will feel the disconnection immediately. Might drive him crazy trying to find you. Good, let him hurt like I hurt. And the pain, he continued, will be considerable. Both physical and psychological. Phantom bond syndrome affects 90% of voluntary severance cases. I don't care. Lie. I cared so much it was killing me. But caring hadn't saved us. Hadn't made Daehyun fight for what we had. The surgery table was cold. Bright lights made everything too real. I closed my eyes and pictured his face. The way he looked at me in beginning. Like I was miracle he couldn't quite believe in. Count backwards from 10. 10, 9, 8. His laugh echoing in my memory. 7, 6. His hands in my hair. 5, 4. The first time he said he loved me. 3, 2. The last time he meant it. 1. Darkness took me, and when I woke up, part of my soul was missing. Present. The beta is touching his face now. Gentle caress that used to be mine. My chest hollows out watching it. Even without the bond, my body remembers how to break for him. I should hate her. This sweet-faced girl who gets his attention so easily. But I can't. She didn't steal him. I gave him away when I chose the knife over the fight. The scar pulses like second heartbeat. Angry reminder of what I've done. What I can never undo. Sometimes I dream about the surgery. Wake up screaming with phantom pain shooting through my neck. Daehyun's name on my lips like dying prayer. He kissed my gland site once, right before everything fell apart. Soft press of lips to my most vulnerable spot. Mine? He whispered against my skin. Always mine. Always. What a pretty lie that turned out to be. The beta laughs at something he says, and the sound carries on wind. Light and free. Everything I never learned how to be. My fingers dig into bark of tree until splinters pierce skin. Physical pain to match the emotional. I turn to leave finally. My broken body has endured enough torture for one day. But as I step away from my hiding spot, movement catches my eye. Daehyun's head snaps up like he sensed something. His eyes scan the courtyard with predatory focus, looking for something, someone, looking for me. But that's impossible. The surgery severed our connection completely. He can't feel me anymore, can't track my scent or my emotions or my presence. Can he? Our eyes meet across the distance. Time stops. The beta keeps talking, but he's not listening anymore. He's staring at me with expression I can't read. Surprise, confusion, something that looks almost like relief. My surgical scar burns white hot, and for just a moment I swear I feel something. Faint echo of what we used to have, like ghost limb that still aches for missing piece. He takes a step toward me. I run. Why does he still look at me like that when I'm nothing to him now? The coffee shop feels too small, too warm, too full of memories I've spent months trying to burn away. I shouldn't have come here, should have picked somewhere else, somewhere that doesn't smell like cinnamon and our first real date. But here I am anyway, like moth drawn to flame that already burned it once. I order my usual black coffee, no sugar. Same thing I've ordered for 2 years. The barista doesn't recognize me anymore. Good. I prefer being invisible these days. Easier to exist when no one expects anything from you. The surgical scar under my collar itches. Always does when I'm nervous. Phantom sensation from nerves that no longer connect to anything meaningful. I scratch at it through my shirt and immediately regret the movement. That looks painful. The voice makes my blood freeze. Cedar and rain and morning mist. Alpha scent that used to wrap around me like security blanket. Now it just makes me feel hollow. Empty space where connection used to live. I turn slowly. He's standing 3 feet away, hands in pockets, looking at me like I'm Ghost, which maybe I am, Ghost of the Omega he used to want. Daehyun. My voice comes out cracked, broken, like everything else about me. Jinwoo. He says my name carefully, like he's testing how it tastes after months of silence. You look different. I finish for him, because I know what he sees. Hollow cheeks, dark circles, body that's forgotten how to exist without constant emotional pain. Thin, he corrects gently. You look thin. Are you eating? The kindness in his voice hits like physical blow. Worse than anger would be. Worse than indifference. Because kindness means he still cares, and caring without connection is its own special torture. I eat, Lee. Food tastes like ash when you're mourning yourself. He moves closer, slow, careful steps like he's approaching wounded animal. Which isn't far from truth. My body tenses automatically, flight response kicking in even though there's nowhere to run in cramped cafe. Can I? He gestures to empty chair across from my table. Just for a minute? I should say no. Should tell him we have nothing to discuss. Nothing left between us except surgical scars and regret. Instead, I nod. He sits down like movement might break something fragile. His scent wraps around me, and my body reacts instinctively, leaning forward before I catch myself. Even without Gland to process pheromones, my omega hindbrain remembers what alpha means. What his alpha means. Meant past tense now. I've been looking for you, he says quietly. Why? The question hangs between us, heavy with months of unspoken hurt. His fingers drum against table surface. Nervous habit I used to find endearing. You disappeared, completely, like you never existed. Maybe I didn't. The words taste bitter. True. Maybe I was just temporary madness. His jaw tightens. Don't say that. Why not? It's what you believed. I touch my neck unconsciously. The place where proof of our connection used to live. You said our bond wasn't healthy. Said it was better this way. I never said he stops. Takes breath. I never said you weren't worth fighting for. Worth fighting for, but he didn't fight. Just let me slip away like smoke through his fingers. You blocked the bond, I whisper. Raw truth finally spoken aloud. You cut me out first. Pain flickers across his features. Real emotion breaking through careful composure. I was trying to protect you. From what? From me? From what I was becoming. His hands clench into fists on table. The possessiveness. The need to control everything about you. It was consuming me. My surgical scar throbs. Phantom pain shooting down spine like electric shock. So you decided for both of us. Yes. At least he's honest. Brutal honesty that cuts deeper than pretty lies would. And now, I ask, because I'm masochist, because I can't help myself. He reaches across table, fingers brush my wrist before I can pull away. Touch sends shockwaves through my nervous system. My body lights up like Christmas tree, every nerve ending screaming recognition. But there's no bond to carry the sensation, no connection to amplify the touch into something transcendent. Just physical contact between two people who used to be everything to each other. Now I can't feel you, he says quietly, can't sense when you're hurt or scared or anything. It's like losing limb. I want to tell him that's exactly what it feels like for me too. Want to show him the surgical scar and explain how I mutilated myself trying to stop loving him. Want to cry and scream and beg him to make it stop hurting. Instead, I pull my hand away. You got what you wanted, I say. No more unhealthy intensity. Jinwoo. I have to go. I stand abruptly. Chair scrapes against floor with harsh sound. Other customers glance over, but I don't care. Can't breathe in here anymore. Can't sit across from him and pretend my heart isn't bleeding out through surgical wound. He catches my wrist as I pass his chair. Gentle grip that could hold me or let me go depending on my choice. That's new. Before, his touch always felt like claiming, like ownership. Please, he says, just one word. But it carries weight of months apart, months of wondering and searching and missing something he couldn't name. I look down at his hand on my wrist. Long fingers that used to trace patterns on my skin, that used to know exactly how to touch me until I came apart in his arms. What do you want from me? I ask. He stops, swallows hard. I want to understand why you feel different, why I can't sense you anymore. Different. If only he knew how different. How completely I've changed. How I've carved away pieces of myself to stop loving him. Maybe you just moved on, I suggest. Found someone new to obsess over. His grip tightens fractionally. There's no one else. I saw you, with the beta, yesterday. Understanding dawns in his eyes. You were watching me. Heat floods my cheeks. Embarrassment at being caught, at still caring enough to spy on his life from shadows. She's my study partner, he says. Nothing more. You don't have to explain yourself to me. We're nothing to each other now. The words hit him like slap. His hand drops from my wrist like I've burned him. I immediately miss the contact, miss the warmth and weight and familiarity. Is that what you really believe? He asks quietly. I want to say yes. Want to lie and tell him I've moved on, found someone new, forgotten what it felt like to be his. But I can't form the words when he's looking at me like I'm puzzle. He's desperate to solve, like I matter to him in ways that transcend biological bonds. I don't know what I believe anymore, I admit. He stands slowly, towers over me like he always has. Alpha genetics that used to make me feel safe, protected. Now they just remind me of everything I've lost. Let me walk you home, he offers. Why? Because you're shaking, and it's cold outside, and he pauses, seems to wrestle with words. Because I've missed you, more than I know how to handle. My surgical scar pulses in rhythm with my heartbeat. Phantom bond trying to respond to his nearness. To his confession, I should say no, should protect what's left of my heart, should remember that he's the reason I'm broken in first place. But when he extends his arm, I take it anyway, because I've missed him too, missed him like missing vital organ. And maybe that's enough, for now. My body remembers him even when my gland cannot call to his. The elevator shudders to a stop between floors. Emergency lights flicker on, casting everything in sickly yellow glow. Perfect. Just perfect. Maintenance issue, Daehyun says, pressing the emergency button. Static crackles from speaker but no voice responds. Probably be stuck for a while. I press myself against far corner as far from him as possible in cramped space. But it's not enough. Never enough. His scent fills the small elevator like fog. Cedar and rain and something darker now. Something that makes my surgical scar itch with phantom sensation. You okay? He's watching me with concerned eyes. Always watching. Always noticing things I wish he wouldn't. Fine. But I'm not fine. Something's wrong. Has been wrong all day. Restless energy under my skin. Heat that has nothing to do with broken air conditioning. Oh no. Oh no. My heat cycle. The one that's been irregular since surgery. The one that comes without warning because my body doesn't know how to function without its gland. Jinwoo? His voice changes, deeper, more alert. Your scent. I don't have a scent anymore. Panic makes my voice sharp. Remember? But even as I say it, I can feel the heat building, starting low in my belly and spreading outward like wildfire. My surgical scar burns like it's trying to produce pheromones that can no longer flow properly, like my body is screaming for connection that no longer exists. The elevator feels smaller by the second, walls closing in. Not enough air, not enough space, too much of him. Something's happening to you, he says, taking a step closer. I can see it. Stay back. I hold up shaking hand. Warning that sounds more like plea. Just stay on your side. But the heat is building faster now. Uncontrolled. Without my gland to regulate the process, my body doesn't know when to stop, doesn't know how to pace itself. Just floods every nerve ending with need until I can't think straight. My knees buckle. I slide down wall until I'm sitting on floor, arms wrapped around myself, trying to hold together pieces that keep falling apart. Jinwoo. He's beside me instantly, hands hovering like he wants to touch but doesn't know if he should. What's wrong? What can I do? Nothing. The word comes out broken, desperate. You can't do anything anymore. The heat hits full force, makes me gasp and arch against cold wall. Every cell in my body screaming for alpha touch, for his touch, for connection that surgery severed. Please, I whimper. Don't even know what I'm begging for. His hands settle on my shoulders. Gentle pressure that sends shock waves through my system. Touch I've been craving for months without even realizing it. Better? He asks softly. I nod against his chest, breathe in his scent and feel some of the panic ease. Not much, but enough to remember how to form words. Heat cycle, I manage. Hasn't been right since what? His fingers trace up my neck, seeking the source of distress, following path they've traveled 1,000 times before. But when they reach the spot where my gland used to be, they stop, freeze completely. What is this? His voice changes, goes cold, dangerous. Jinwoo, what is this scar? I try to pull away but he holds me still, gentle but unbreakable grip. His fingertips explore the surgical site with growing horror. It's nothing, I lie. This isn't nothing. His thumb traces the raised edge of scar tissue. This is surgical, professional. Someone cut you here. The heat makes me dizzy, makes it hard to think through the implications of what he's discovering. All I know is his touch feels good, feels right, even without bond to amplify sensation. Tell me, he demands. Alpha command creeping into voice despite everything. Tell me what happened to your gland. Gone. The confession tears out of me, raw and bleeding. I had it removed. His hands go completely still. Even breathing stops for a long moment when he speaks again. Voice is barely whisper. You what? 6 months ago. After you blocked the bond. After you said we weren't healthy. Words pour out now. Can't stop them. Heat making me honest in worst way. I went to clinic. Had it cut out. Made sure you could never feel me again. The silence stretches between us. Thick and suffocating. His fingers still rest against my scar but they're trembling now. Why such small word? Carries so much pain. Because loving you was killing me. Simple truth. Because you didn't want our connection anymore. So I made sure there wouldn't be one. His forehead drops to my shoulder. Whole body shaking with something that might be grief, or rage, or both. You mutilated yourself, he whispers against my skin. For me. Not for you, because of you. Important distinction. I couldn't live with bond you didn't want. Couldn't feel you pulling away every day and pretend it wasn't destroying me. The heat spikes again, makes me cry out and cling to his shirt. My body doesn't care about emotional revelation. Only knows it needs alpha comfort, needs his comfort. I'm sorry. His lips brush against my neck, against the scar. I'm so sorry. Don't. I try to push him away, but have no strength left. Don't apologize. Don't touch me there. But he doesn't stop. Keeps pressing gentle kisses to surgical site like he can heal damage with affection. Like he can undo months of separation with tenderness. What did you do to yourself? He murmurs against scarred skin. What did you do? His alpha pheromones spike in response to my distress. Protective instincts kicking in even without bond to guide them. But instead of calming me down, it makes everything worse. Makes the heat burn hotter. makes my body remember what it used to feel like when he claimed me. Can't, I gasp, can't handle this. Too much. I know, his arms tighten around me. I know, baby, I've got you. Baby, he hasn't called me that since before everything fell apart. Since before he decided our love was unhealthy. The endearment breaks something loose in my chest. I sob against his shoulder, for what we had, for what I destroyed, for what we can never get back. Why didn't you tell me, he asks. Why didn't you say how much you were hurting? Would it have changed anything? Long pause. His silence is answer enough. I thought I was protecting you, he says finally, from my obsession, from how possessive I was getting. I liked your obsession. Confession tears out of me. Heat making me reckless with truth. Liked feeling owned by you. Liked being yours completely. His breath catches. Jinwoo? But you didn't want that. Didn't want me. I pull back to look at his face. So I made sure you couldn't have me, even if you changed your mind. The look in his eyes is devastating, like I've shown him a glimpse of hell, like he's seeing for first time what his protection cost us both. I never stopped wanting you, he whispers, never stopped needing you. I thought love wasn't supposed to hurt this much. All love hurts. I touch his face with shaking fingers. Question is whether pain is worth it. He leans into my touch like it's benediction, like forgiveness he doesn't deserve. Is it? He asks. Worth it? The elevator shudders back to life before I can answer. Starts moving again like nothing happened, like everything hasn't changed in span a few minutes. But his eyes never leave my face, waiting for answer that might save us both, or destroy what's left. He's falling apart, and I can't save him anymore. The elevator doors open with mechanical ding. Freedom. Escape. But my legs won't work. Can't move. Can't think past the heat consuming every nerve ending in my body. Daehyun lifts me without asking. Arms that used to hold me like precious thing. Now they shake with barely controlled need. His rut triggered by my distress. Even without bond to amplify the connection, his alpha instincts respond to my omega in crisis. Hospital, he says, voice rough like sandpaper, need to get you help. I want to protest, want to tell him I can handle this alone. Have been handling everything alone for months, but my body betrays me, clings to his strength because it's all I have left. The lobby spins past in blur of colors. People stare, but I don't care. Can't focus on anything except his scent wrapping around me. Cedar and rain and something wild now. Something desperate. His rut builds with each step. I feel it in tension of his muscles, in harsh rhythm of his breathing, in way his grip tightens possessively. My omega, he whispers against my hair. My broken omega. Broken. Yes, that's exactly what I am. The taxi ride passes in haze of heat and need. Driver keeps glancing in rearview mirror. Probably smells the distress pouring off both of us. Alpha in rut. Omega in crisis. Recipe for disaster. Daehyun's hand finds my surgical scar through my shirt, traces the raised line like he's trying to memorize its shape, like he's trying to understand what drove me to such extremes. Why didn't you come to me? He asks for third time. When you were hurting this much, why didn't you tell me? Because you made your choice. Each word costs effort. Heat makes everything harder. You chose distance. His alpha scent spikes angry, possessive, territorial in ways he used to keep locked away. The scent that used to make me feel safe now just reminds me of everything missing. I never chose to lose you completely. But he did. Maybe not consciously, maybe not intentionally, but when he blocked our bond, he chose his comfort over my existence. Emergency room lights are too bright, too harsh. Make everything feel exposed and raw. Nurse takes one look at us and calls for doctor immediately. Omega in heat, she says. Complicated presentation. Complicated. That's one way to put it. They separate us. Standard protocol. Can't have rutting alpha in room with distressed omega. But Daehyun fights it. Actually growls at orderly who tries to guide him away. He needs me, he snarls. Full alpha command. Can't you smell his distress? Sir, you need to calm down. Your rut is making everything worse. Making everything worse. Story of our relationship. They put me in sterile room with machines that beep and hum. IV in my arm. Monitor on my finger. Reducing me to numbers on screen. Doctor arrives 20 minutes later. Older woman with kind eyes and no-nonsense attitude. She examines my surgical scar with gentle fingers. When was the procedure? She asks. 6 months ago. Who did it? Underground clinic. I paid cash. Her expression darkens. Do you have any medical records? Follow-up care? I shake my head. There was no follow-up, no aftercare. Just me alone in studio apartment bleeding through bandages and trying not to die from the emptiness. This is botched work, she says quietly. Nerve damage, scar tissue formation. Your body is trying to function with severed neural pathways. Is that why? I gesture vaguely at my current state. Your heat cycles will be irregular, possibly dangerous. Without your gland to regulate hormone production, your body doesn't know when to stop. She makes notes on clipboard. You're lucky this episode wasn't worse. Lucky. I don't feel lucky. Through the window, I can see him pacing in hallway, back and forth like caged animal. His rut makes him restless, makes him need to protect and claim and possess. But there's nothing he can do now. Nothing either of us can do. The alpha outside, doctor continues. He's your former bondmate? Yes. His pheromones are in distress too. Rut triggered by your condition even without active bond. She studies my chart. Remarkable, actually. Usually severed connections don't maintain that level of response. Remarkable, like we're science experiment instead of two people who destroyed each other trying to love. Can you fix it? I ask. The damage? Long pause. Some of it. Reconstructive surgery might restore partial function. But the neural pathways, she shakes her head. Those don't regenerate. Any new bond would be artificial. Chemical assistance rather than natural connection. Artificial, like everything else about us now. The heat finally breaks, leaves me exhausted and empty. Hollow shell of Omega who used to burn bright for his alpha. Now I just exist, survive, get through each day without falling apart completely. They keep me overnight for observation. Dahyun sleeps in chair beside my bed. Despite nurse protests, his rut faded, but his protective instincts remain sharp. Every time medical staff enters, he watches them like threat. You should go home, I tell him during quiet hour before dawn. Can't. Simple answer, not until I know you're okay. I'm not okay. Haven't been okay since I touch my scar. Since I chose knife over conversation. He leans forward, elbows on knees, exhaustion written in every line of his face. I keep thinking about that night, he says. The last night before you disappeared. You asked if I still wanted you. I remember the silence that stretched between us. The answer he couldn't give. And I couldn't say yes, he continues, because wanting you felt like consuming you, like I was taking pieces of you until nothing would be left. That was my choice to make. My voice is whisper, whether I wanted to be consumed. I know that now. Too late for knowing. Too late for truth. The damage is done, carved into my skin, written in surgical scars and nerve damage. Doctor returns in morning with test results. Numbers that confirm what we already know. I'm broken in ways that can't be fully fixed. The artificial hormone treatments aren't working, she explains. Your body is rejecting them, fighting the chemical bond like foreign substance. Daimim's hand finds mine, squeezes gently. What does that mean? It means his omega physiology is confused, trying to connect to alpha pheromones but lacking the biological framework to complete the process. She looks between us. In simple terms, his body remembers what bonding felt like but can't recreate it. My body remembers him, will always remember him, even with gland gone and connection severed. There are experimental treatments, she continues, but success rates are low, and the psychological impact of repeated failure. Don't. I shake my head. I can't keep hoping for something that's gone. Daehyun's grip tightens. Jinwoo, I made my choice. Have to live with consequences. Or die with them, because living like this feels like dying in slow motion. They discharge me with medications I probably won't take, instructions for follow-up I probably won't keep, warnings about future heat cycles that might be worse. Daehyun walks me to taxi in silence. His scent still makes my surgical scar ache, still makes my broken body want things it can't have. This isn't over, he says as I get in car. But it is over, has been over since the moment I chose surgery over trust. Take care of yourself, I tell him. Last words, final goodbye. Because I can't keep doing this. Can't keep breaking apart every time he tries to save me. The taxi pulls away and I don't look back. Can't bear to see him standing there, still trying to protect Omega who no longer exists. I ran because I loved you, not because I didn't. 3 days since hospital. 3 days of pretending I can live like this. Like existing without him is something resembling life, rather than elaborate form of self-torture. My hands shake as I fold clothes into suitcase. Everything I own fits in single bag. Pathetic really, 24 years of existence reduced to few shirts and broken dreams. The studio apartment feels smaller today. Walls closing in like they know I'm planning escape, like they're trying to keep me here until he finds me. Because he will find me. Always does. The surgical scar itches under my collar. Phantom pain that never quite goes away. Doctor said it might fade with time. Another lie to add to growing collection. I tape final box shut. Address label already written. Storage facility across town, where I can leave pieces of life I'm abandoning. Clean break. Fresh start. Words that sound better than they feel. Knock at door makes me freeze. 3 sharp raps. Familiar rhythm. The same way he used to announce himself when we were together. When he had right to enter my space without permission. Jinwoo. Voice muffled through thin wood. I know you're in there. I don't answer. Don't move. Maybe if I stay quiet, he'll assume I'm not home. Will give up and leave me to disappear in peace. Your neighbor said she saw you packing. Pause. Said you've been crying. Traitor. Mrs. Kim with her concerned looks and gentle questions. Probably called him the moment she saw moving boxes. Please, the word carries weight of exhaustion, of desperation. Just let me in. I should keep the door locked. Should tell him to go away. Should protect what's left of my heart. Instead, I turn the deadbolt. He stands in doorway like ghost from better life. Dark circles under his eyes. Stubble that says he hasn't been sleeping. T-shirt that hangs loose on frame that's lost weight. You look terrible, I say. So do you. We stare at each other across threshold. 2 broken people who used to fit together perfectly. Now we're just sharp edges that cut when we get too close. His eyes scan apartment. Take in boxes and suitcase and general air of abandonment. Running away again? Moving on. Correction that sounds hollow even to me. Where? Does it matter? He steps inside without invitation. Closes door behind him with quiet click. The sound feels final, like sealing us in tomb together. It matters to me. It shouldn't. I turn back to packing. Busy work to avoid looking at him. You made your choice. I made mine. Time to live with consequences. What if I was wrong? The question stops me cold. Hands frozen halfway to drawer. About what? About everything. About us. About thinking distance would fix what was broken. I laugh. Sound comes out bitter and sharp. Little late for epiphanies. Is it? Yes. I spin to face him. Yes, it's too late. Because I'm not the same person you fell in love with. That Omega is gone. Cut away with my Gland. His face crumples. Actual physical pain at my words. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. I pull down collar to show surgical scar. See this? This is what your protection bought. This is what happens when Omega loves Alpha who doesn't want to be loved. You wanted control. Wanted to decide when and how much. Wanted love on your terms. Words pour out. Months of buried resentment finally breaking surface. But love doesn't work that way. Can't portion it out like medication. He takes step closer. Then another. Until we're standing arm's length apart. You're right, he says quietly. The admission hits like physical blow. Knocks wind from my lungs. What? You're right. I wanted control. Wanted to love you without losing myself. Wanted to protect you from my own intensity. His hands clench at sides. I was selfish and stupid and scared. Scared. Alpha like him. Scared of Omega like me. Scared of what? Of becoming my father. The words hang between us, heavy with implication. With family history I glimpsed but never fully understood. Your father? Possessive, obsessive, claimed my mother so completely she forgot how to exist without him. His voice drops to whisper. When he died she couldn't survive the separation. Bond broke her mind. Understanding dawns, pieces falling into place, his distance, his fear, his desperate need to maintain control. So you decided for both of us? Yes. Without asking what I wanted. Yes. At least he's honest. Brutal honesty that cuts deeper than pretty lies. I sink onto couch, sudden exhaustion making my legs weak. And what I wanted was you. All of you, even the dark parts. Especially the dark parts. He kneels in front of me, hands hovering near my knees like he wants to touch but doesn't know if he's allowed. I know that now. Too late. I touch my surgical scar. Can't undo this. Can't go back to what we were. Maybe we don't have to go back. His fingers finally make contact. Rest on my knees with feather-light pressure. Maybe we can build something new. With what? I have no gland, no bond capability. I'm just broken Omega who destroyed himself for love. You're not broken. His hands move to my face, cup my cheeks with gentle reverence. You're wounded. There's difference. Wounded, like injury that might heal instead of permanent damage. Doctor said the neural pathways don't regenerate. Then we make new ones, different ones. His thumb traces path of tear I didn't realize had fallen. Not biological, not chemical, just choice. Such simple word, but it carries weight of possibility. Why now, I ask? Why come back now when I'm trying to leave? Because I finally understand what I lost, what we lost. His forehead touches mine. Because 3 days without knowing where you were felt like dying. Because I love you more than I fear losing control. Love. Present tense, not past, not memory, current, active emotion. Even without bond? Even like this? Especially like this. His voice is fierce, certain. Because this version of love is choice, not biology. Because you chose me despite everything I put you through. My surgical scar throbs, but not with pain this time. With something that might be hope. I'm leaving tonight, I tell him. Bus ticket already bought. Then I'll buy one too. Da-hyun. I'm not losing you again. His hands tighten on my face. Not to my fear, not to your pain, not to anything. The possessiveness is back, but different now. Not trying to contain me, trying to keep me safe. What if it doesn't work? What if we can't build something new? Then we fail together. Simple answer, but we try. We choose each other and we try. My suitcase sits by door, ticket to new life in my pocket. Everything packed and ready for escape. But looking at him now, seeing desperation and hope and love warring in his eyes, I realize I don't want to run anymore. Okay, I whisper. Okay? Okay, stronger this time. We try. He kisses me then, soft press of lips that tastes like second chances. Like maybe broken things can be rebuilt into something beautiful. When we break apart, he rests his hand over my heart. Even without the bond, he says, I choose you. Surgery can't erase what's in here. I cover his hand with mine, feel his heartbeat through palm. You're still mine, he whispers. Prove it, I challenge. He smiles, first real smile I've seen from him in months. Every day, he promises, for the rest of our lives. Some bonds don't need glands, they need souls. Morning light filters through curtains. We bought together 3 months ago. New apartment, new start, new version of us that's built on choice rather than biology. I wake to familiar weight of his arm across my waist, to cedar and rain scent that still makes my heart skip, to gentle pressure of lips against my surgical scar. Good morning, brave Omega, he whispers against my neck. Brave still makes me laugh when he calls me that. Nothing brave about what I did, just desperate Omega making desperate choice. Good morning, foolish Alpha. He hums approval, traces thin silver line where my gland used to be. Daily ritual that's become sacred between us. His way of honoring what we lost, what we chose to build instead. The scar has healed better than doctors expected. Thin thread of silver that barely catches light now. Sometimes I forget it's there. Sometimes whole days pass without phantom pain. But he never forgets, never lets me forget that this mark represents his failure as much as mine. Regrets? He asks. Same question every morning. None, same answer every day. And it's true, mostly. Some mornings I wonder what it would feel like to have bond again, to sense his emotions through connection deeper than words, to feel his love like physical presence in my mind. But then he does something like this, kisses my scars like prayer, holds me like precious thing he almost lost. And I remember that some things are worth more than biology. Coffee brewing in kitchen. He must have woken early again. Considers it his job to take care of morning routine. Says I need extra sleep since my heat cycles are still irregular. Stay, I mumble when he starts to pull away. Coffee will burn. Let it burn. He settles back against pillows, pulls me closer until I'm practically lying on his chest, heart beating steady under my ear. Rhythm that's become my favorite sound. Sleep more, he says. I'll wake you when breakfast is ready. But I don't want to sleep. Want to stay like this, in bubble of warmth and safety we've created, where surgical scars are just marks on skin instead of symbols of destruction. My phone buzzes on nightstand, text message that makes him tense. Doctor appointment reminder, I explain. Monthly checkup. Want me to come? Always. 3 months of appointments. 3 months of tests and consultations and careful monitoring. My body is learning to function without its missing piece. Slowly, painfully, but learning. The medical consultations about reconstruction surgery remain pinned to refrigerator, pamphlets and phone numbers and hope disguised as science. Maybe someday, maybe never. Doesn't matter now. What if they say surgery is viable? He asks quietly. Question he's been building courage to voice for weeks. What if they do? Would you want it? The reconstruction? I consider this. Think about artificial glands and chemical bonds and second chances wrapped in surgical procedures. Would you want me to? I want whatever makes you happy. Diplomatic answer. Safe answer. But I hear uncertainty underneath. Fear that artificial bond might not feel the same. That reconstructed connection might be pale imitation of what we had. I don't need Gland to love you, I tell him. I know. Do you? He shifts beneath me, discomfort at being called out on his doubts. Sometimes I wonder if you miss it. The intensity, the biological certainty. Miss it. Such simple phrase for complex grief. I miss knowing your emotions without asking. Miss feeling your presence even when you're not here. Miss the way you used to scent me like marking territory. His arms tighten around me. I could still scent you, if you wanted. It's not the same without Gland to process it. No, it's not. Honest admission that sits heavy between us. But I don't miss the desperation. I continue. Don't miss feeling like I might die if you pulled away. Don't miss being addicted to your attention. You were never addicted. I was. We both were. To intensity, to possession, to feeling owned and claiming. I lift my head to look at him. This is healthier. Healthier, but what? But sometimes I miss owning you completely. Dark confession that should probably scare me. Instead, it makes warmth spread through my chest. Because this is truth. Raw honesty about what we were. What part of him still wants. You do own me, I tell him. Just differently now. How? Through choice. Through staying when things get hard. Through kissing my scars every morning like they're beautiful instead of broken. His hand finds the back of my neck, covers surgical site with palm. Protective gesture that's become second nature. They are beautiful, he says fiercely. Because they're yours. Because you survived them. Because they brought us here. Here to apartment that smells like both of us. To bed where we learn new ways to connect. To love that's built on foundation stronger than biology. I love you, I tell him, not because I have to, not because biology demands it, because I choose to every day. Even when I'm possessive? Especially then. Even when I want to mark you in ways that don't work anymore. We'll find new ways. He rolls us over, pins me gently to mattress with weight of his body, eyes dark with want and love and something that looks like worship. Show me, he whispers. So I do. Show him with hands that map his body like territory I've claimed. With mouth that speaks love in language deeper than words. With surgical scars that press against his chest like proof of what we've survived. Afterwards, we lie tangled in sheets that smell like us. Like home. Like second chances. The surgery, I say into comfortable silence. If they say it's possible, yeah, I don't want it. His breath catches. Are you sure? This love doesn't need artificial enhancement. Doesn't need biological validation. I trace patterns on his chest. What we have now is choice. Pure choice. What if that changes? What if someday you regret? I silence him with kiss. Soft press of lips that carries 3 months of certainty. Some bonds don't need glands. I whisper against his mouth. They need souls. He smiles, real smile that transforms his whole face. Is that what we have, soul bond? Better. We have choice bond, made new every day. I choose you, he says. Ritual words that started as promise and became prayer. I choose you too. My hand finds his heart, covers it like claiming, mine, yours. He agrees, always yours. Outside, world continues its chaotic dance. People fall in love and break apart and heal and choose each other again. But here, in morning light that turns everything golden, we exist in bubble of our own making. Love built on choice rather than chemistry. Bond forged from decision rather than biology. Connection that survives surgery and separation and fear. The surgical scar on my neck catches light as I stretch. Thin silver line that tells story of destruction and rebirth. Of love so desperate it chose pain over loss. But mostly it tells story of healing. Of two broken people who learn to build something beautiful from pieces of what they destroyed. Forever? He asks. Question disguised as joke but carrying weight of real fear. Forever, I promise. Biology or no biology, gland or no gland, you're stuck with me. Good, he says, pulling me closer. I like being stuck with you. We drift back to sleep in tangle of limbs and promises. Coffee burned in kitchen hours ago. Breakfast forgotten in favor of better hunger. When we wake again, it's to afternoon light and rumbling stomachs and love that needs no enhancement except choice. Choice made new every morning. Every kiss to surgical scars. Every whispered promise. Some bonds are written in biology, others are written in souls. Ours is written in choice.